going
Loved
to.
it.
I can't believe
And you know what? Brady won again.
Yeah, okay.
He continues to win. He
Okay,
makes it
Brady
look
won
easy
again.
just like that. Shannon, I'm sorry you had a good weekend up until last night. We do have to address the situation with the Lakers because their 7-game win streak was snapped last night in Denver. But really a scary moment came late in the first half when Anthony Davis aggravated an Achilles injury and did not return. The initial diagnosis was a right Achilles strain, but the team says he will get an MRI this morning. AD sounded optimistic after the game, but added, quote, "I don't want to mess around with this type of injury." So, Shannon, how concerned should the Lakers be? How concerned are you?
Skip, they should be very concerned because, like you said, it's one of those injuries that you don't want to fool around with. And AD's had this lingering problem over the last couple of weeks. Skip, remember, he missed like 2 or 3 games. They rested him, and he said yesterday was the best he felt dealing with this injury in a very long time. And then, Skip, I think it's just something that he's going to have to deal with because he might play a game. And you look at the game that he had against Memphis, he looked absolutely fine. And then he had a misstep last night, and it re-aggravated. Now, I don't know how many people have ever dealt with tendinosis. They call this tendinosis. But my senior year in college, Skip, I had Achilles tendonitis. And I don't know if they do this, but I actually took an injection in the Achilles. They don't do that, Skip, because they say it makes you more vulnerable to a thing. But it was so painful, I was willing to do anything to get out of that pain. So I took the injection, rested about 3 or 4 days, and started back resuming practicing for like 4 weeks, Skip. I ended up playing with 1 low-top shoe and 1 high-top shoe. So AD might have to go to a high-top shoe, Skip, because, you know, he like playing in the lows, he plays in the Kobe's. So that might be something they have to look at, maybe put a heel cup in there, maybe change his orthotics or something like that. Skip, because the season is so condensed, it's not a typical season, Skip. They're basically playing every other day. You might, on a good week, get 2 days off in between games, but that's it. You're basically playing Sunday, you're playing Tuesday, you're playing Thursday, you're playing Sunday again. So you're getting 3, 4 games in every single week, so there's really not a whole lot of time. But AD, if I'm the Lakers, I'm done with AD. I'm not letting AD play for a good solid 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks. Skip, it might not even be until after the All-Star game. And I'm just going to say, Brian, hey, you got to do what you got to do, bro. They'll insert Kuzma into the starting lineup, who's been playing really, really well, Skip. He's embraced his role. He's like, look, I'm coming off the bench.
Yep.
The shots that I would get had AD not been here, and I'm second to LeBron, I'm not getting those shots.
Yep.
You see him crash the board, Skip. He's playing defense. He's doing an unbelievable job.
Yep.
And he plays better in the starting lineup than he does as a reserve. But it hurts your bench because he's the guy that also gives you points off the bench when LeBron would go to the bench. So for me, Skip, I'm giving AD some time off. But I'm afraid, even with the time off, Skip, he's going to be stepping on pins and needles for the rest of the season because one wrong step and it could flare up again. And so that's the problem that you have dealing with these lower leg extremity injuries is that the one misstep, like I said, he looked great against Memphis. And then all he did, he was driving to the basket last night and he pulls up. So I'm afraid that's where, and it's hard. And I understand because the West is difficult this year, Skip. Utah looks really good. The Clippers are playing really well, even without Kawhi and Paul George. These teams are coming. You saw Denver, what they're capable of. So
don't sleep on Phoenix.
As I say, I'm sleeping on everybody. Look, I'm not sleeping on anybody.
Yep.
Long as I got GOAT, I'm fine.
Okay, you got the GOAT, but maybe all that you have according to you. Okay, I am obviously not a doctor, but I have known so many doctors. I know so many now. I have interviewed so many doctors. I stay in touch with so many doctors that I do feel like I can play a doctor on TV.
Oh, you play one?
And I'm about to play one right now. I do not believe you have anything to worry about here. This is my experience with the most mysterious injury in all of sports, the Achilles tendon, especially when it ruptures. It ruptures for no apparent reason.
Zero.
It ruptures with no pain, no warning. It just snaps for no apparent reason. I've seen it happen so many times where I say, what happened? It's usually non-contact.
Yep.
It's usually just a slight, there's really not even a severe push-off. It's just like you take a step sideways and it's like you get shot in the calf.
You're right.
Somebody shot me in the calf. What just happened to me? wait, my leg won't work. I can't walk anymore. Right. It doesn't really hurt that much. I just can't walk, right?
It feels like you skip, you fall asleep at night and your foot dead.
Your foot's dead. And yet it's not excruciating pain by anybody's account. You're just done for a year.
Right.
Because you have to, it rolls up like a window shade all the way up to your knee, the back of your knee.
Yep.
And the doctor has to go in quickly and find it before it atrophies and pull it back down and reattach it down at your heel.
Yeah.
It is called the Achilles heel for a reason, because Achilles, back in Greek mythology, he had one big weakness.
Yep.
It was his heel.
Yep.
And that thing, that tendon, it's essential to the ability to move forward.
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I found about the Achilles tendon. If it gets inflamed, remember, it's got a sheath around it.
Yes.
So it's a tendon, and as you move, as you press forward on your foot to move forward, it moves up and down inside this sheath.
Right.
Well, if the sheath gets inflamed all the way up the sheath, is what you had would you say your senior year?
My senior year, 1989.
Savannah State. And if it gets inflamed, it is hellish. It's just, and it gets so inflamed that when you wake up in the morning, you can't even walk out. Your first step out of bed is like, ah!
Yeah. You ain't really trying to put no pressure on that thing.
No pressure. And you try to stretch it gently, but it won't really stretch for a while. Usually it responds to ice, and it often responds to an orthotic, to your point about different kinds of shoes. If you can put up something that's built up under your heel, like any kind of insert, orthotic, just to elevate it, it usually will fairly quickly respond.
Right.
But in my experience, and I could be wrong about this, I almost tweeted about it last night, and then I thought, I don't want to jinx him. I don't know, because this could be that 1 in a million one. But usually when you're fighting either tendonitis, or now they're calling it tendinosis. Tendonitis is just severe inflammation. Tendinosis, you've got some degeneration within the tendon. Whichever it is, when you have pain, usually, it's actually a good sign that it's more sheath-related than tendon-related.
Right.
Where if your tendon starts to fray, you said afraid, afraid of fraying, well, then it starts to weaken, but you don't even know it because you don't have any pain.
Right.
And then one false step, and you're gone for a year, and one false step, and your career is threatened, right? Because we never know. It seems like they're getting a little better and better at the reattachment. But I'm here, I'm just going to give you a really educated guess. I don't think it's that bad, because he pushed off hard on it, and it zinged him again, and it hurt.
Right.
That's a good sign that it hurt, because I knew right away it can't be a rupture, because he walked off on his own power.
Yeah, he ain't walk. Yeah.
Right? He was limpy, but he wasn't, oh my God, I need 2 people under my arms to get me out of here, right? So I'm going to say he's going to be okay. I'm going to say inside of you said maybe 3 weeks. If you want to be just ultra safe, I got you.
But you would agree, though, at the bare minimum, give him 2 weeks.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just pain threshold, and then you're daring the devil. Is the tendon actually threatened somehow? It's hard to know. The MRI will show you a lot more today.
But let me ask you a question. Given the level of pain that he's in, can he be Anthony Davis if he's thinking about it?
No.
Or if it flares up from time to time in the ball game?
No.
Because it kind of flared up last year. Remember, it kind of flared up last year in the finals. Remember, he had to leave a game because it flared up on him.
He did. Okay, he's had little knick-knack injuries his whole career. Some guys have high pain thresholds, some don't. Now, Anthony showed me something through the playoffs last year, because I think he played with a good deal of pain.
Yes.
You never know another man's or woman's pain till you somehow inside their body, but you can't be.
Right.
So I don't know exactly how painful it is, but to me, this is an injury that if you can withstand the pain, you could come back sooner than later. You don't want the pain, because it's just frustrating. It's annoying. Finally, it's agonizing after a while. And once it gets in there, because everybody has become so much more aware of Achilles tears. Let's start in the NBA with Kevin Durant. And I have no idea where that one came from, because he was already having a calf issue, remember? And then I don't even know if the Achilles was related to the calf or not. You could theorize that, but I don't know about that. It may have just gone on its own.
And KD might be the new AD ACLs in football. What KD was able to come back from the Achilles and the way he's been able to play, because Skip, normally that was a death sentence. Just like the old ACL before modern medicine, the ACL was a death sentence for a football player.
Sure.
The Achilles was a death sentence for a basketball player. But if you look at KD, he's giving guys hope. Like, man, if KD had this thing to look at, now KD is different. Now, for the most part, Chauncey Billups, I don't think Chauncey was ever the same once he ruptured his. Dominique ruptured his. And now, he couldn't elevate, but he came back. He went to the All-Star. He averaged like 30 that year, Skip.
He did. Okay. So, gut feeling, bottom line, you're going to be okay. I assure you from across the table, it's going to be okay. That's my gut.
You know why I'm going to be okay? Because I got that guy.
Okay, but if you only...
One high top shoe. So AD might have to go to a high top shoe, Skip, because, you know, he like playing in the lows, he plays in the Kobe's. So